RPL's fifth visit to Jeddah in F1 comes tonight at round number 2 of season 11. Welcome along, folks, for the second week of racing this time for F1 Tier 1. And last week, we had quite a bit go on. An interesting race, maybe not the most interesting of races, but a calm but fairly good race took place where Leo Lund took a first victory ahead of both Ferrari drivers, one full time of Gecko, the other being a reserve of Egg. As for the rest of the field, Cookie got pole. He ended up getting 5th. He had a track limit penalty. Minico only ended up 4th, just outside the podium. And some other teams scored points, such as the Aston Martins, the V-Carb, the Sauber, the Haas, and the Alpine, leaving Mercedes and Williams yet to score points from the first round. So we'll have to keep our eye out on them as well. But Jeddah last season, Titan, as I welcome you along, it's going to be something to remind ourselves about. DRS trains from second on back quite a bit. A battle that kind of slowed them down from catching Cookie at any point. And with this being a wheel track ahead of tonight, we shall find out which drivers prevail and which drivers don't. And based on previous history at the circuit, we should be in for our first safety car of the game cycle and season by the looks of things. It would be our first safety car in 289 laps or more, depending on how long we go with that one. But Ryan Searles here, RPL Titan Iron. Welcome along. Good to have you, and shall be fun to see.
Yeah, this is gonna be a unique race. It's gonna be a unique race, racing around the Jeddah Corniche circuit, and good to be here, everybody, here for another nice, fun round of RPL Tier 1. It is going to be interesting, and how things went in Tier 3 back on Thursday with some wild racing and stuff. I know if any of you watched the Tier 3 stream live on Thursday, or if you haven't, catch it on the RPL YouTube channel. The both of us, we want to compete in Tier 3, and even had quite a few scraps together. It was a lot of fun, but here we are for Tier 1. Are we going to get similar scraps and similar fun? Only time will tell.
I think the good thing about doing that race, Titan, is it taught us both a lot about what we are going to expect for tonight's event. Obviously, it's different a little bit because you got full qualifying, different assists, also different drivers. But the big thing about Jeddah will be track limits in some areas, because we did have quite a bit of Tier 3 drivers pick up penalties. Another big thing is the dirty air effect, because there's a lot of high-speed sections, and that is where the dirty air does seem to affect the drivers most. So think of Sector 1 quite a bit, with high-speed sections where that dirty air will come into play. The right front wears the most, and the biggest thing of all, besides the safety cars and VSCs, the detection point. We saw games played in the real life race here in 2021, and even, I think, a little bit 2 seasons prior, maybe, at this race for RPL F1, and even in Tier 2, we saw it happen before. That detection point that was into the final corner is moved to the exit of the final corner instead of the entry. So drivers will have to definitely play it a bit interesting with how they do plan out their moves. Before, in the past, Titan, you could go for a dive down the inside of the last corner, and you would get DRS if you were ahead by a certain point. But now, you've got to wait out of the final corner in order to do something like that.
Yeah, that last DRS detection point, that did catch me off guard in the Tier 3 race, because I was following up at making a dive bomb against someone. One time I even tried it against you in the final corner, and when I came out ahead in that final corner, I'm like, wait a minute, how in the world did he get DRS? And that's when I found out the hard way that the detection point was moved. I'm like, oh, well, that's fun. Did not expect that. But yeah, we got quite a good field here. We are looking at a full packed house for this evening.
Hell yeah.
We have Red Bull, Cookie. Not feeling too sweet after what happened in round 1. That track limit penalty in Bahrain really messed him up. The defending champion really messed him up. Then we have Reese, not having a good time having to deal with the being known as the Sergio Perez of Tier One.
Yeah.
But let's hope that Reese Buffs can come out of the shadows and really shine in Jeddah. Then you had Leo Lund picking up the win in his second ever start in RPL T1, and I even put it in the fun facts. The last time a RPL Tier 1 driver won in his second ever Tier 1 start was done by Jacob in Season 7. He raced in Ferrari in France Season 7. Unfortunately, wound up having falling out of the points, but then followed it up 4 rounds later in Zandvoort by winning in mixed conditions, besting of all people Red Fire to win the race.
I think it was only 2 rounds later, but it's still impressive nonetheless because I think with Leo's, he's not the only one that same exact weekend that got a podium, got a win in only their second start. Josh 433 in F2. It was his debut weekend. It was not the sprint race, but it was the feature race. Technically his second start, you could say, or second race. He ended up getting the victory there when Miniko and Skither both came to blows. So, yeah, it shall be an interesting one to look out for tonight. I mean, we have previous races here that definitely catch our eye for sure, whether it be in Tier 2, F2, F1. We were some of the only people in F2 that ever raced the only wet Jeddah RPL race back in Season 12. You have also some of the closest ever finishes coming here. Some under a 10th, some not. But with F1 specifically, I mean, last season it was Cookie ahead of the rest of the pack. And I think qualifying was definitely a little close. A little closer than most of the other races during the season, to say the least, when Cookie was out in front. But the season prior, it was a last lap pass between TB and Skither. As for Tier 2, similar to what happened with Will last season, and it wasn't as much of a surprise to see an Aston Martin on podium, but it was a surprise to see him on podium. And just like in other tiers, Titan, I'm going to wonder for tonight, will we see a backmarker car on the podium? Lando for Norris did it a few times in Tier 2. Gagi got a Haas onto the podium in Tier 2 a few seasons ago here. And Owen also got a Williams on the podium here. If this is going to be... If we're going to get a bad team on the podium this season, this might be the track to do it.
And if my memory is right, I think there's only one Tier 1 car that has yet to get onto the podium.
Haas.
I believe it is Haas, yeah. I thought it was Williams, honestly, but then I realized Season 5 Japan, they got that one. And then
Season 5 Japan?
Well, it was Japan, I think it was, but I got my tiers wrong.
You were speaking about Jacobs when Jack got a podium in that race, and Oxtez got one in Season 3 France as well. It was the only two times.
Gotcha.
But
I forgot about
I see your point though, because in all fairness, Season 5 Japan, I do remember there being a Williams up there at one point. I don't think there was anywhere close to the podium by the end, but
okay.
I can see why you mix it up though. Williams have only had it twice.
That's fine.
It's fair. Q1 underway now. Get your predictions in chat, folks. Yonder, I might do that after. But either way, let's go over some headlines, pens, and changes here before tonight's event that will definitely spark some people's eyes. We'll go over the drivers on loan and reserving later on. But the big headline, I think, from this week, Titan, was that Owen, our returning winner, I'll call it, from last season, ended up dropping down to a reserve role in RPL F1. He was full-time in the Aston. And because of that, a lot of things changed. So, Egg wanted out of the Ferrari Academy. I knew this from behind the scenes for quite a bit. Now, Cookie's lagged out. Now, with that being said, he's going over to Aston Martin back at the Academy, but instead of being at Williams, he's in the Aston. Cookie's offline, so he'll need an invite when he's back online. But as for the case of
went out.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, we'll figure that out in a moment. But as for the case of Egg, he's in Aston Martin, and because he went to Aston Martin, Tadpole was supposed to be moved up to Tier 1 in a week or two. It happened early. He's in the Haas, which was Egg's seat. Well, You're probably wondering what happened with Tadpole then in Tier 2 with his seat. Well, J&T's now in the Ferrari. But what happened else in Tier 2 that created some controversy or maybe some interesting things? Well, Hunted was the tier coordinator and admin. He got that removed. George is now the tier coordinator of Tier 2. And also, apparently this happened weeks ago, but it was not announced until just a few days ago. Jack's now the new Tier 1 coordinator instead of Luke. So, with Tadpole promoted to Haas full-time, it's not the first time he's in Tier 1, but it's the first time in quite a bit, at least for full-time senses. And Egg over to Aston in a better car. I mean, what do you make of this, Titan?
It's quite interesting. I mean, it's only the first round, and we've already seen some changes and interesting things. I mean, to be fair, Tadpole moving from Tier 2 to Tier 1, it was expected because some of the drivers in Tier 2 were not happy with Tadpole being around and presumably basically thinking he was going to be too dominant and too fast for it. The administrative team, they looked everything over, they talked it over, and they made the decision that Tadpole is too fast for Tier 2 and has to move. Ooh, good lord. Rev Fire nearly clocked the wall in turn 6, the inner wall of turn 6, but thankfully he did not do that. Good
That'll
for
be a big
him.
talking point tonight.
Yeah. But yeah, Tadpole being moved from Tier 2 to Tier 1, I believe I will give fair credit to the admins. I believe it was a correct and proper decision, and we'll probably see some more more closer, compact action in Tier 2 moving forward. Egg moving up to Aston Martin. I will admit, I was a little disappointed that he is moving from Ferrari Academy going into Aston Martin because he really cooked in that Ferrari last week, and I was actually hoping to see more of that possibly. But unfortunately, he's now in the Aston. But I mean, I'm a little bit bummed out. But I think even with switching to probably the strongest midfield car in this game, I think Egg has some more cooking expertise in his possession. Jack becoming the tier one coordinator over Luke, and George becoming the Tier 2 coordinator over Hunted. I mean, to be fair, Hunted has been pretty busy as of late from what he's been telling me in the Academy chat. So that's probably, I think it was a good decision. So Hunted wouldn't have to be too preoccupied with so many things at once. And then also, don't forget, also with Jack, not only is he the new Tier 1 coordinator, but he also replaces Josh as the co-team principal of Mercedes. Josh has been relegated to Academy Assistant.
Zakari is the first one to get in a time, but it's on the intermediate tires. We're on board with Gecko, and we're figuring out where he's going to use his ERS and also turn it back onto either hot lap or medium. He's kind of playing with it right now. To the point about Egg, just before we get into any proper hot laps, I want to say I'm happy for him because based on a lot of the things going on behind the scenes, he was not happy in the Ferrari Academy. Now he'll be more happier at the Mercedes Academy. He had been trying to get out of there for the first round or two, but he at least backed it up with a podium before leaving there, so maybe that's a good sight. As for Gecko, this will be the first competitive lap, and we do have a 27.9 as the time to beat. So Gecko, at the end of the lap, down to about 22% on the battery. We'll see what it ends up like later in the race. However, Jack Miles is on the lap. Turn 1 now. Turn 2, you do drift the car a bit into there, and it's a bit slip and slidey, which can be discomforting for some, happy for others if they can find the time. At turn 4 inside wall, we saw claim a few victims in the Tier 3 race earlier this weekend here on Thursday, but now in the S's here, you do not want to clip any of these curbs. If you do, you get stuck on them or you slip and slide on them and you go around. But for Jack, he's completing the first sector now and going to the bank hairpin with a 32-0. As for Jack, 70% on the ERS, and I'm going to guess for most of this time here, of course, ERS being a big thing changed in this game. You can hear it when Mark tells you about 10,000 times in the game when going out in qualifying. It's a big thing for qualifying because if you're Jack here, when do you use the overtake? That's going to be the big question, Titan. He's now going into Sector 3. Let's see what it's like. I'll have you take over.
Yeah, so Jack currently finishing up Sector 2 at this moment. Minute 7 total out there as he currently works through turns 22, 23, into 24. Oh man, some of these corners I really need to touch base on and get it right this time. I know it's 27 actually for here. As Jack comes into the turn 27, the final corner, into the DRS detection point, where, as you said earlier, moved to the exit of 27. Here he comes across the line. Jack is going to be third fastest with a 28.0. Next up, looks like, well, no, Gecko is starting a new lap.
Interesting.
Who is next to come across the line?
Egg's one of them.
Looks like...
He's one. He's not the next, but he's one of them.
Yep. Cryptic's actually up next.
Yeah. The
Cryptic
previous
and
champion,
Speed.
Tier 2, and goes fourth. Speed as well. Where is he going? Oh, he goes up to fourth. So points last week in the Sauber. Looking to do more this week in that same exact car. And Egg. Fresh new place for him. Fresh new place in second place in a different team other than Ferrari now. Egg going to get out of the way and going to show us how you can use the runoff there at turn 1 if anything ever happens to you. We will see some people use that area to avoid either going side by side and causing collisions or really probably lap 1 chaos more so. Every season here in Saudi Arabia in F1 we've had a safety car and or a VSC. So our streak we've had of almost 300 laps consecutively across all tiers may come to an end tonight. We'll just have to find out. Only 2 VSCs in the Tier 3 race, Titan. But like I said, that turn 4 wall was one that claimed a victim, and it happened on lap 1 to cause a safety car last season, and it happened in Tier 3 earlier this week on lap 1. That turn, final braking zone, I guess, in Sector 2, where you do the right-left chicane, and that left, it was optical, overcorrecting it and going into the wall and flying up in the air, taking flight. We are not too unfamiliar with drivers taking flight here. Wavy Knife did it once. You almost lost your life, Titan. But
yes, I did.
I'm going to have you cover Josh then so you don't lose anything here in the qualifying.
Absolutely. So here goes Josh currently going through the Jetta Spoon corner, as I would nickname it, turn 12. Getting up to the gears. He's down into 7th gear, going to be high in the RPMs, heading into this next chicane of, I don't even know the corner numbers. So
18, 19 now, 20.
Okay.
21.
Like I said,
now.
I'm intelligent. I'm not intelligent in regards to that. But
I just pulled the F1 map to make it easier.
Miles. Yeah, I definitely need to do that for sure. But yeah, so Josh gets to around 200 miles an hour before the next braking zone of 24 and 25. Now through 26, heading into the braking zone at 27, gets to around 202 into the braking zone. Ooh, that was Andrea that nearly lost. Either Andrea or Zakaria nearly losing it there in front of Josh, but he kept it together. And Josh coming in fastest in the overall, 700th clear of Cookie at this moment.
That was fair from Josh to do at the top of the board, considering he needed to make a statement after Mercedes were pointless after last week. It was Zakaria, by the way, who had a moment there at the last corner and just, I think, didn't get in the way. The fake TB, our 20th driver to join, he's joining us late, and we're going to ride on board with Miniko while we talk about the drivers on loan or reserving tonight. Miniko has his teammate just get out of the way of Leo Lund right there. He's planning to start a lap. That'll affect that one. Miniko coming across while we have Lewis Piper reserving. We have Andrea reserving for Alpine. Sangino reserving. Red Fire Tiger reserving. And Miniko taking over P4 on our timing charts. Fair play right there for Miniko. Tadpole returning to Tier 1 full time. Let's see what the Haas driver does. Across the line now. 7 fastest, not bad from Tadpole. I think he's really going to benefit at a circuit like this, and Cookie is going even better, 2/10 up. Titan, our pole sitter from last season, and our winner, let's have you cover it. He's right on the limit.
Wait, which one are we covering, Leo?
Cookie.
Oh, Cookie, sorry. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, so Cookie currently flying his way through Sector 2, coming across nice and easy, flowing through 25, 24, 25. Now DRS back active and open. And come 2026, DRS is gonna be a thing of the past. Into the braking zone, heavy braking zone, 203 into the final corner. As Cookie firing up back through the gears, flooring it through, and Cookie is back on top. 27 just a smidge under 27 and a half. And Cookie and TB is probably going to be beside himself because he joined and then he was booted out of the session and the game instantly retired him. So TB is out already, despite
Leo
being in the
Lund,
lineup.
deployment used. He responds by going to a 27-0, 4/10 clear. Sorry to cut in, Titan, but that is a massive, massive lap. Skither, by the way, across the line, he invalidated, and this is his first lap in terms of F1 cars in this game in RPL because he just bought it at the end of last week and missed last week's race. As for Andrea, he'll be the next one to come across the line and make a lap time, but yes, TB will have to overcome being at the back of the field. He has finished top 2 here in the last 3 times we've come to Saudi. Last season, though, he had to do it from 10th after a collision with Groggers in Q2. Andrea just ahead of Zakaria, but Alpine only had the 1 point last week. Well, they're making a statement now being 8th and 9th. That's really good from Andrea, the reserve, and Zakaria, the full-time driver.
Yeah, Zakaria really stepping it up after the mishaps of Bahrain last week. And Andrea, I think he would have had just a little bit because when he came out of 27, the car got a little loose and the right rear did clip the wall on the exit. He basically nearly Max Verstappen 2021. That's basically what Andrea almost did, but thankfully the car is okay and still going. But I think Andrea, with that little bit of a slap, he probably lost a little bit of time. He could possibly equal Jack, but that is on him for that one. But Skither, by the way, coming out of the final corner, he'll be coming across the line. As you said, he bought the game. Let's see what he's got. He's 5th fastest. Only a 10th behind his teammate Gecko at this moment. Meanwhile, Reese is about to fire up his lap. He did try to put in a lap a little bit ago, but unfortunately, at the end of that S section, he got a little too far over the curb and invalidated. So he had to try again. And hopefully he'll get a better lap in this time around.
You can see just how much he's on the limits and pushing this lap to get out of the bottom 5. We need to start talking about that bottom 5 because Ferrari almost got in the way. You have Red Fire in it, Sam Gino in at the second Williams, Reese sliding through the corners, Cam, TB, and Reese, your bottom 5 currently as things stand. 32-2 from Reese. I don't think it was the best of first sectors, but knowing that Reese is on wheel around this circuit, he will have the benefit in comparison to most of the pad drivers here. As for Reese's case, though, last week, he had a lap 1 incident with KVS, and that was more on the contact model than anything, but Reese frustrated with Jack at the time. Heat of the moment, he said, and had to do the recovery drive, but could not get inside the points. He was only P11, so now, no excuses this week for sure. He's got to do good in qualifying, and you know what I spoke to you about with, I spoke to you about this, Titan, and with others. With a closer field between McLaren, Ferrari, all these teams closing up to Red Bull, Reese has got to do a better job of being closer. Reese always seems to do what the car should and not always outperform at most cases in qualifying, but let's see what he's got for Q1. This should be good enough to get him through. Does it? Yes, 8th fastest, but there will still be more people to go, and Dom will be the next one that will need to maybe worry a little bit about where he's at. 1.7 back from the top, but less than a 10th or so away from Cryptic.
Yeah, absolutely. And also Cam, who's down in P19, he is going to have to go again. But one thing that's interesting is that the reason Cam's times is not that pleasant. He actually came out and did a few laps on the hard compound tire. Yeah, it is very unusual to see a driver use the hardest tire compound in a Q1 session. I mean, unless he's really testing the waters to see how it'll feel during the race, but I don't know if you actually have an extra set of hards, like fresh hards available to you. I think it's just a one and done, possibly, but I really don't know. But also, by the looks of it, we do have our first retirement and one confirmed elimination with the time. Sam Gino in P18 has called it, so he is out of Q1. So there is only 3 drivers left to join him.
Oh! Speed did what you said Andrea did and hit the wall, but he's going to be okay. He's up to 11th, safely through for now. But although him and Cryptic improved, it does not mean they're safe.
Yeah, very true. And speaking about with Andrea, that was a bit of a scary moment in the pit lane. I don't know if it's been mentioned in the driver chat. I think it might have. Let me just take a quick look just to confirm. I don't see it at the moment, but there was a very scary moment in the pit lane. Cam was coming into the pits to get off the hard compound tire and come out onto the set of softs. When he entered the pit lane, he met a parked Andrea at the entrance of the pit lane, and Cam had to go sideways to avoid striking him.
Well, if you got to face adversity once, you may as well face it twice if you're Cam here. That was the first one. This is the second one, trying to get out of the bottom 5. And currently, he's the slowest on pace. But that was only because he was on the hard tires. This team scored no points last week. They qualified okay. But
Dom has wrecked.
Now they got to do it again. And you're right. Dom has wrecked. That is in the S section. He's out. So now, only 2 can improve and get out. Cam being the first one. Then it'll be up to Lewis Piper, then Tadpole, and Zakaria, and Cryptic will be the ones sweating. Cryptic, though, thinks he's safe, and same with basically most of the top 12.
Well, Lewis Piper is going to have to hope that Cam and Red Fire wind up invalidating, because Lewis Piper did something wrong, because the lap that he was on prior was invalidated, and he did in the final corner, which meant that the lap that he's on now is also invalidated. So Lewis Piper is pretty much done and dusted. Well, and Red Fire has invalidated out of the exit of the S section, and he is done. So Red Fire is eliminated, and Cam coming across the line, and Lewis Piper is full done. Cam to 10th.
Zakaria up on the time. Tadpole across the line. Lewis Piper's out, but Tadpole and Zakaria don't have to complete the lap. We'll see what they have available to them. Tadpole's 11th, and Zakaria next. Will he choose the pit lane, or will he choose the start-finish line? Deployment used across the line, and Zakaria goes up to 13th. So Lewis Piper, Dom, Red Fire, Sam Gino, and the fake TB out in Q1. Maybe the big surprise being Dom, based on what we saw last game. Maybe the fake TB being a surprise, not getting a lap in at all because the game retired his car. Zakaria, very, very happy about getting through in the Tier 1 driver's chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Zakaria could not get through. I think my memory's right. Zakaria did not get through to Q2 last week in Bahrain, and that basically set the course of events of things going wrong. But, I mean, taking a look at the bottom 5 that are out of it, I mean, both Williams being out, that is practically of no surprise, in my opinion. Dom being out, I mean, that is another thing that could have been expected. Lewis Piper, I think, I was actually thinking Lewis Piper could have gotten into Q2, but by the skin of his teeth. And then TB being screwed over by the game. I think TB, super unfortunate for him, but I think if he did get a lap in and managed to get some runs in, I think his teammate Cryptic would have been seen out of Q1.
Well, we'll look at the bottom 5 in just a moment here one more time, but Leo Lund is on top in this session ahead of a Red Bull, a Mercedes, and a Ferrari. He's got a 4/10 gap to lead the way ahead of Q2. We'll find out what happens in the next session, but we shall see what that looks like. Give us your predictions in the Twitch chat, folks. 13 of you watching. Here is your top 3 from the session. Leo Lund, Cookie, Josh. Then in the relegation zone, you have Lewis Piper and the Kick Sauber, Dom and the Haas, both Williams of Red Fire, Tiger, and Samgino, both Tier 2 drivers, and the fake TB in there as well, a previous Jetta winner 2 seasons ago. For the Williams sake, Titan, I just want to say I've driven this car before. Drove it in a social race here at Bahrain, though, and it's okay. It's nice here and there, but it's just too unpredictable. And I think, you know, this circuit would definitely not be a circuit that it will definitely be ones you see guys like Speed in the Sauber or Tedpole in the Haas just be able to outperform their cars, and it's just not going to happen. And it didn't.
Yeah, I completely agree with you in regards to that. But here we are. Here we are for Q number 2. And by the way, when I was taking a look at the field, if we had to take Leo Lund's time out of the equation, from second place to the 15th place car of Cryptic, between Cookie and Cryptic, 8 tenths separates those 14 cars. That is very close compact for a Q1 session, and I like how tight compact it is, and this is actually going to promote more tight compactness as we get through into Q2, and I'm actually really curious to see what we're looking at for Q3 later on.
Well, if last week was something to show, maybe this week will be with Leo Lund. He was fast in Q1 and Q2, but he couldn't get the job done in Q3. A mistake at the end. And this is such an easy track to make a mistake, but I think the difference compared to Bahrain is that the McLaren feels just a little bit better, and Leo Lund trying to warm up his tires, doing it quite excessively. As for Leo, though, quite impressive he's been, it must be said. Oh, what?
So, sorry to intervene. That was, sorry for that little interruption. That was my mother on the...
Oh, you're good, you're good. I thought something happened in the background
well,
of,
it's because...
the traffic.
Hang on.
Yo, good, by the way. Good. You were saying? All right, I'll give you a moment, but I was just going to say with Leo Lund that a mistake last week in Bahrain in qualifying definitely costed us chances, that's for sure. And, yeah, this McLaren is a lot better on the circuit, but a mistake can obviously change things, and, you know, he showed his pace a little early last week, and it didn't pay off, but this week it might. We'll find out. Right now, he'll be the first one to start a lap in this session, and we'll ride on board with him. Titan, I'll have you take it away, but I'm going to have to quickly be right back.
Yep, I'm actually back right now, but, so, I think... I remember you saying earlier in the F2 stream, you said you had, like, storms or something nearby you or whatever? Because,
Yes.
They're where I am, and we got a tornado warning on us. I got a tornado warning in my area.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so, we'll just have to wait and see on what's going to be happening, but, I'm keeping an eye on the weather at this moment, but I'm still here.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. I'm going to quickly go AFK. If you can cover the rest of this lap from Leo, that'd be great, but I'll be right back.
Of course. Yeah, so here we go with Leo 1 as he finishes up in sector number 2 now. Let me just get some of this stuff here. Minute 0 for him, and he just roars his way through that little section, that tight section here. Now, onto the DRS. Flying his way down. Look at that, deploying it all the way, getting up to 208 into the corner. My goodness, what a roar here. Little wiggle woggle out of the exit of 27, and he's just flying his way down. Deployment is active and used, and Leo Lund, 27-0 for him. Very good run for him. Josh coming up behind, 27-7 for him. Jack right behind, 27-9. Gecko, 27-1 for him, puts him in the second. Minico, Leo's teammate now. Coming across the line now, it is a 28-5 for him. Egg, 27-5 for him. Now the Red Bulls are coming into play.
Cookie first, then Reese Dainty. Cookie 8th, yep. Reese 6th. I'm going to guess that some of these laps, for sure, are on used tires. And we're going to find out here in just a moment. Cryptic invalidated his first run. Now he's going again. Andrea in the middle sector now. 32-1 in the first. And now slides and almost goes around and somehow is still going straight. Good from Andrea to keep that car in control. Speed goes 8th fastest. But Andrea's our next one. And definitely one to maybe go again after a slide like that. That is incredible. As for Skither, he's on an outlap, by the way. He's the only one of our top teams yet to set a top, lap time. Tadpole not out on track yet. Cryptic invalidated his second run, and Zakaria did too. So, Andrea comes across the line now. What will the time be for Andrea? The only Italian in this race is 10th fastest for the French team. And teammate Zakaria follows through behind. Stream's been lagging bad all day, JNT says. Alright. Well, that might be weather on my end. I don't have it lagging, at least on my end. I only had it happen once, but it's also my end, not your guys's, so that could obviously be different easily. Zakaria invalidated that one. Cryptic may go for another one here. I don't know how much fuel he's got in store. But yeah. Skither, he started a lap, and let's find out what happens with him. I don't know if you're still there, Titan, but turn 4 awaits us now.
I am here.
Oh, so close to that inside wall, and a big lockup as well from the Ferrari.
Just taking a look at my weather app, just keeping an eye on
Good.
basically the radar and stuff.
Well, Skither is purple in the first sector. I would hope that does stay safe for you, by the way. Therefore, not only you survive, but also you can cover this race too. But Skither, using a bit of curb, and just taps the wall. Titan, if you don't mind chiming in on this while we end Skither's lap here in a moment. These walls are so tight. I think it's like Monaco. You're going to hit it once, but will you get away with it or will you not? That's going to be the big question.
I mean, with Monaco, it's a slower, more technical track, where here it's basically fast-paced. So if you make a critical mistake clipping that wall, you're more than likely to have your race critically end for you if you're not careful. But here comes Skither coming across the line. He has to answer to Leo. He does not at the moment. 27.9. He is 9 milliseconds clear of Jack. And he is in P5 right now.
Tadpole took a really weird line entering turn 4 to avoid hitting the inside wall. But for Tadpole, easily another lap he's going to have to do in order to get through. Cookie is on an outlap right now, and can't believe I'm saying this, but he's going to have to go for a second run in order to get through into Q3 from this. I'm going to guess this is on new tires, excuse me. Not used tires, the first one being on used tires. And, of course, a mistake in that lap as well. But, yeah, shall be interesting to see as well with the drivers who ends up staying in DRS the most, who ends up hitting the wall the least, who ends up picking up a track limit penalty. That kind of was what decided originally the podium. Then TB appealed to the 3-second that was unfairly given to him. Cookie out of the final corner. Hot lap in store. DRS applied. Overtake now before the line, and here he comes to start his lap. The pole sitter last season in this race, the race winner as well. But a season prior, he retired from the race in the Mercedes. We'll find out if he can keep it clean and green this time. As for Cookie, turn 4 awaits him now, and this seems to be calamity corner for most of the drivers, whether it's on your track limits, whether it's hitting the inside wall. It hasn't really claimed a victim yet, but track limits have.
Yeah, track limits can be a major pain in the neck if you're not careful. There's so many things that could go wrong if anything it has gone on and stuff like that. But if you're not careful, you can get bit with penalties and stuff. Especially towards the end of the S section, like those curbs, notoriously that grind rail curb in turn 8 and 9 and 10, that is notorious for that as well.
2 seconds up, and continuing to improve through the last sector will be Cookie, as long as he just doesn't invalidate or do what Max Verstappen did in qualifying here in 2021. Someone else just went across the line and got up on the charts. That was Minico, third fastest now for McLaren. So some of the guys closing in on Leo Lund, especially good for the teammate to do that of Minico. He won on 3 wheels earlier today in F2. Cookie, though, across the line, he's fourth. Now also the third different driver to be within 2/10 of Leo Lund. So good stuff from Cookie, but the Academy team in a Cryptic needs to have some luck on his side and needs to do some good driving here if he wants to complete this lap and not have it valid. He needs to get through into the top 10. Right now in our bottom 5 Titan, you got Speed, both Alpines, Cryptic, and Tadpole.
And looking at with that bottom 5, there's only 3 drivers yet to get a lap in. Cryptic, Zakaria, and Tadpole yet to get a lap in. Currently, Cryptic is on a lap at this moment. He's just entering Sector 3 now. He's got an Aston of, I think that's Jack right ahead of him. Yep, as Cryptic goes right past, heading into the final corner now. Let's see what he has to try to get his way out of the bottom 5. As he comes out of the final corner now, it deploys that overtake. The deployment should possibly be used right at the end. Looks like he does not. But Cryptic only 12th fastest, so he's going to have to find quite a bit more in order to get himself out of the bottom 5.
Jack Miles invalidated, and he could not find the extra mile to go up some places on the grid into Q3. Reese Dainty on another lap. He's going to have to get up on the time right here. Reese Dainty's not been good in qualifying. That's been his weak link in terms of his return to Red Bull. But Gecko, Minico think they're safe. They're declaring themselves into Q3. But like I said, for Reese, he needs to do better with qualifying. He has to get out of the bottom 5, even if someone else behind improves, which next driver that could do that is Andrea. Just want to mention one thing on Tadpole, by the way, from the promotion to Tier 1. Something to keep an eye out on him in the race is that in 4 of his last 5 starts, he's been 11th or better. Let's find out what he's got in store for tonight. Reese Dainty. Let's cover him as he starts a lap. A lot of criticism from last week. Not many people really cared to hear the reason as to why he was 11th in the race. Although for Reese's case, it was really the incident on lap 1 that put him back. But right now, turn 4 awaits him, and he's going to use all the track really he can besides going out of bounds. And now, through the S section, such tight lines you have to take. Can't go on the curbs too much or else you will end up binning it. Almost full throttle, and actually full throttle at the end of it there from Reese. Now to the sector split, 3/10 up. Titan, this is looking good, but he's got to keep it going. Ooh! Wall riding that through the end of the bank corner right there from Reese. He's got to not end up having that happen again, because maybe it might have his wheel come off. Maybe you might get front wing damage the next time that happens. You just never know around Saudi Arabia with the way that it is. And Cryptic decides that he's going to be out automatically in Q2. Reese Dainty, 4/10 up. This is looking good from Reese. He needs to keep going, though. He needs to find the extra edge, just in case there's others who do improve, and to show that he's going to have the Q3 pace for the sake of his teammate to challenge at the front. One more corner to go. One more braking zone. How heavy do you brake? 20% in the battery from Reese. Fuel very, very low, and doing all he can. Across the line now from Reese Dainty. And it's 6th place. It's just enough. But he cannot have more than really 5 people improve. Let's get there on a lap now. Titan has lagged out of the session, but I'm going to find out if this is a lag out or because of the tornado watch. And crucially, 9th place runner Skither has invalidated. He will not get another go at this. So it's going to be down to the Alpines to dispatch any of them. Specifically, Speed as well in the Sauber. Because he's the closest on pace, and if he does do it, Jack Miles would be out. Speed gonna start a lap, but we're gonna go to Andrea and Zakaria. Zakaria's got a 32-1. Tadpole starts his final lap now. Leo Lund's on another lap, but he's backed out of it. He's just doing, I think, Maybe another lap on these tires to kind of figure out what it's like to cool down. Andreas crashed. That's in the S's. He's out. He's out for sure now. So he was already going to be out on pace by the looks of things, but he adds insult to injury here. And Aston will cross the line. That's Egg, but I don't think he'll get another lap in here. He physically can't be knocked out, though, because Skidder invalidated. Zakaria's going purple, and he's got a Red Bull in front to help him. That's Reese Dainty. Can Reese Dainty help him out a little bit more? No, he doesn't choose to do so. Zakaria has one more corner to navigate, and across the line he'll go in just moments' time, using the overtake, and all of it left. No deployment used. Zakaria, can he make the upset? He just misses out. He's so close. He got speed as well. 20 thousandths up. He's going to need more. It's not enough. Skither's eliminated. If Speed and Tadpole improve. Right now, Tadpole, big wiggle, and a clip to the barrier. Across the line, the new full-time Tier 1 driver just misses out as well. So Jack is only going to be worrying about speed here. For Skither, his academy teammate will not knock him out. Skither had some bad luck with that invalidation, and some would call it a skill issue. But now the luck's come on his side, and Leo Lund giving a slight toe to Speed. Will it be enough, though, as Speed crosses the line now? He misses out as well, and he will not see Q3. It is going to be Skither just getting through, but out are the two Alpines. Tadpole's eliminated too. Speed and Cryptic. Cryptic called it quits quite early, but he literally realized that it's not his fight. Don't go out, save a pair of tires, save a set of tires, and do what you can. Skither into the pits, and that is it from Q2. Leo Lund leads once again, but this time only less than a tenth. For anyone wondering, RPL Tire and Iron's power has went out. So just waiting on Skither to retire in the pits, and he has. We're going to look on board with Speed here and look at the green helmet until we get the results. So, here are the cars into Q3. 2 Astons, 2 Mercedes, 2 Red Bulls, 2 McLarens, and 2 Ferraris, just like Portimao last season into Q3. Leo Lund leads the charge, then it's Gecko and Minico, both McLarens, doing what they need to, just like they did in Bahrain after leading the Constructors, now in Q2. Any surprises in Q3? I don't really think so, but the top 5 teams will duel it out, while we have, once again, the eliminations, Zakaria, Tadpole, Speed, Cryptic, and Andrea. So unfortunate end to the end of Q2 there for both Alpines, Speed, Tadpole, and Cryptic. Q3 an entirely dry session. I don't expect it to rain here often in Saudi Arabia. The only time it did was back in the 1F2 race we mentioned at the very start with me and Titan in it. So, Titan's not here. I'm going to give poll predictions. Not the time, but the top 3. Leo. Maybe Cookie will get it, but he's on pad, though, so I don't think so. It's tough here because I want to give it to Cookie in the top 3, but I just don't know if it's going to happen. Leo, Gecko, and that third spot, it's really a toss-up between guys like Minico, Skither, and Cookie. It's going to be decided between them. But my top 2, besides that, obviously Leo and Gecko. We have cars out on track right now, and let's see what they can do as they set their sights on pole position or a good start, whatever it may be in qualifying here. Give us your predictions in the Twitch chat, folks, for your thoughts on who will get pole position tonight, let alone what the pole time may be. We have all but 3 drivers out on track right now. The only ones missing in action are Skither, Leo Lund, and Egg. Minico will be the first one or two, I guess, to start a lap because Gecko overtook him on track here to start the lap. And we'll find out what Gecko has in store here as we look at him and give a hot lap to him. Gecko starts the lap and he deploys overtake. Let's look at what he's going to do. He turns it off right after the start-finish line. And how do you hook up your turn 1 if you're Gecko? Maybe slide the rears a little bit? Just slightly. 81% now in the battery, hooking it up for turn 2. Then turn 3 here, the inside wall. Don't go over the white line too much. You really don't invalidate there, but hugging that inside curb may find you extra time. And now, right on the limits here, that curb does change position, at least on the right side slightly, in turn 4. But now the S section, you have it in hot lap here if you're Gecko, but I would have it in medium to save some for the remainder of the lap. Now on these curbs, he's right on the edge, and he's having a bit of issues in the sense of, I would say, almost going out of bounds right there. Sector split complete. Titan back online. So, oh, Titan's back. Oh, all right. Either way, Gecko has just a few more corners to go, and specifically 1 more braking zone to go. He's almost out of battery, but does he use overtake to come across the line? A little lockup in the left front at the final corner, but just a straight to go through. Yellow flags from the Mercedes. Gecko's our benchmark, and it's a 27-1 that sets the sights in Q3 for pole position. Minico's had a mistake on his lap, and he's going to go for another one, but the next one across the line will be Josh. Does Josh end up pitting? Yes, he does. He's going to give this lap up and abort it. Who do we have next? We have Reese Dainty for Red Bull next. Let's invite Titan Iron Wolf back. Titan. By the way, if Titan does lag out again due to power, we do have Lando for Norris on standby. But Titan across, or Reese across the line, not Titan. Reese second fastest. Does anybody else find the time to beat them? Cookie just ahead of the teammate. Interesting stuff from Red Bull there to be a little bit off the pace compared to normal. Jack, 4th fastest. The McLarens are next. First is Leo Lund. He starts a lap. Now Cam completing a lap, but he's invalidated it. So we'll do another hot lap while we watch Leo Lund. I'll wait for Titan to fully connect.
I am back in action.
All right, there we go. Good to see.
So what did I miss?
Oh, not really much. Just the end of Q2. And now Q3 underway.
Who got eliminated? I noticed the
Karia,
LPs are out.
Andrea, Cryptic, Tadpole, and Speed. Skither invalidated that last run, by the way, in Q2 and just made it through on the skin of his teeth. He was 9th. Wow. Jack was 10th. But Leo Lund is purple to the first sector and now through the banked hairpin. Here he comes now, just riding these walls. Not riding them literally, but just literally right up against them. That's how close he is on the limits. He's got an Aston in front of him who might get in the way or give him a slipstream. That is, I believe, Jack Miles. Jack Miles going the extra mile to help out a competitor, which is very rare to say the least, considering they're a part of different academies. 59.5 and flying through here, almost going out of bounds, and somehow remains in the track limits. DRS applied, overtake button up, engaged as well, and now 1 more corner to break for. You got turn 27, which can be tricky for the drivers. You cannot lock up here. Yellow flags in that section. He'll be okay. A little wiggle, almost into the wall, but Leo Lund has been perfect so far, and will it be enough for pole as he runs out of deployment? He just gets it. 26.5. That's actually a really good time. Titan has lagged out. So. Oh. All right. All right. Is it back again? If it goes out one more time, are you okay with me getting Lando in if it goes out one more time? If it does. All right. I just don't want to miss any of the action, as you can probably understand, you know? By inviting, re-inviting. Sam Gino lagged out. He got an invite back quickly, so that's good to see, by the way. Either way, Titan, all right, good. All right, good. Well, we do have one more lap right now to complete before Josh does go through Sector 2 or Sector 3. Either way, Skither, previous driver you were team principal of, in a way, in the past. Right now, he's trying to get past the bottom 3 spots in Q3. As for Skither, almost to the next of the wall right here. Overtake button on use. DRS applied. Deployment used. Will it be enough? Third fastest, right behind the teammate. So, although he doesn't have much playtime in this game compared to Gecko, he says, screw that. I'll put it third fastest and help us out quite well. Josh now on a lap, and Josh is one of the only 3 yet to set a lap time, but he's also there with Cam of the drivers yet to set a lap. Making his way through the last bits of the lefts until the last one that you have to brake for. Turn 27, deep into there, and almost sideways out of it. A little squirrely there from Josh in terms of the rear end in the middle of the corner, but now across the line. Podium here last season, 4th in the starting grid right now. And just keep in mind, Lewis Piper was 3rd here in qualifying for Mercedes in this event. Cam was P7, and he'll need to go out if he wants to better that this season and compared to last. He did that in the Alfa Romeo, by the way, compared to the Mercedes now. Egg on a lap, and I'll let you take this one, Titan. Oh my god, right? Ooh! Ooh! Make sure you re-include your audio, by the way, but yes, Egg is 2nd fastest. Fair play from Egg. I must say about Egg, he's been on pole once before, but in an Aston Martin to be 2nd, I think the last time that happened was either Jack in Portugal or when he was top 3, or before that, Josh in Monaco. Oh yeah, that's true, Singapore, yes. Oh, spin! Cam loops it right behind Cookie. That would have made Cookie jump scare himself before entering turn 4. Yeah, you're right. That was, though, when Blonde had the grip penalty, and Cookie's invalidated. Cookie will need another go at this. Trouble for Cookie. Leo Lund, though, currently holds pole position, and he's looking to become a brand new pole sitter tonight if he can just do that. I need your audio re-included again. It's not going through. I'll let you know when it is. Talk again?
Is it good?
Yes, it is now.
Okay, good. Anyway, so some good news. Josh has just called it into pits anyways. But yeah, so good news on my end. The tornado warning that was on top of my area has now moved south of my area, so I am in good shape. However, I do have a severe thunderstorm warning, and that is going to be active until the next 35 minutes.
And Minico, that will be it. That will be it from Minico. That was a big moment he had, and he will not be able to have another go.
Nice.
Jack on a lap now. Cam yet to set a lap. He's on a lap as well. We'll go to pole sitter Leo London a bit. He'll get to the line just in time to start a lap, but Skither is going to be the only concern for that. Jack in the first sector. We'll switch to Gecko in a moment. Jack up by 2/10. Gecko invalidated. Gecko got the same treatment Skither did and got hampered by track limits in Sector 1, and it's going to cost him this time because he will not get a final lap in. Leo Lund
Cam
starts a
has
lap.
invalidated too.
And the invalidations are starting to hit. To your point, that is not good. Cookie now has a chicane to navigate through here. On the limit, overtake in use for just a moment. As for Cookie's sake, 30% on that battery remains. Is it going to be better in Sector 2? Checker flag waves. Cookie's up by 3/10. So,
ooh, Cookie clipped the wall. Just a little bit.
Will it be damage to his car? We'll have to find out. Minico out. Gecko. Jack. The next one's to come across the line. Cam is out. Cam crashed. Now, Cookie. The first one to try and beat the times we saw in Bahrain. Not a lot of people got their last laps in, so we'll find out what happens there. Jack, you were wrong about him. He didn't invalidate. He gone to 6th, and Cookie is only 7th. The last season's pole sitter, winner, and champion can only manage 7th, and his teammate right now is on line to beat him, while Leo Lund is only up by 9 thousandths and he's invalidated. So it's going to be up to Skither then to go to pole position. Reese Dainty, can he beat the teammate when it matters most? Yes! 5th fastest. Reese Dainty has pulled out a good qualifying out of the bag, and Skither is up by 3/10. He's the only one who can deny Leo Lund of pole position. Leo invalidated, Skither didn't. And right now, it's going to be a race against the front row between Egg and Skither. Egg has it. Skither wants it.
And if Leo Lund's time was allowed, we almost got into the 26-3.
And Skither just misses out on pole, meaning Leo Lund becomes the 34th different pole sitter and our first new pole sitter since Season 9. Leo Lund does it by 96 thousandths over Skither and Eggles. Fair play to him being P3. Here's your full order. Gecko, Reese, 4th and 5th. Josh, Jack, Cookie, Minico, and Cam.
I can't believe you did that. You're just going like Josh, Jack, Cookie, Minico, and Cam.
Yeah,
it's like basically that episode of. It's like that episode at the beginning of Family Guy where it was like the Griffins were the super friends and they were like going like the superheroes, and then it cuts to Meg and it just goes, and Meg.
Well, just to remind people of the strategy before this event, we definitely have an influx in strategies for this evening for sure. We have soft medium being possible. Maybe not the most possible, but it is possible. If you're going to do soft medium, you'd probably prefer to do medium to soft in case there's no early safety car, but there may be a late one. As for the rest of the field, you're more likely going to see a medium to hard, a hard soft. Those are the two most likely ones compared to a soft medium. Complete dry race, by the way. And drivers will have to keep in mind where to put their fuel. If there's no safety car, they may run out of fuel if they're not careful. As for other factors in terms of this event, 22 seconds lost in the pit lane. A 2-stop is possible. Don't think it'd be faster. Don't think it'd be anywhere close to working unless there's a safety car, which we've not had in 289 laps across all tiers. So, Titan, I'm going to have you cover the back of the grid as we have 25 seconds to go. Tell us 11th through 20th.
All right, so our back half of this field, we have Zakaria and Tadpole occupying row 6. Row 7 is occupied by Speed and
10
Cryptic.
seconds.
Andrea and Piper. Row 8, Dom, Red Fire. Row 9, and Sam, Gino, and TB. Backfield.
So this will only be the 5th time that we run in Saudi Arabia for RPL F1. As the lights come on now, and it's away for the 5th time here in F1 Saudi. Yellow flags at the back of the field, but that does not matter. We're at the front of the field where Skither may have a look on Leo Lund, but he just doesn't do it. Everybody having smoke into turn 1, some with lockup, some not, but Egg holds on to P3, then Gecko, then Reese, and Cars almost going into the wall in the background. That's the Alpine, 3 wide for a moment, into 4, don't see any collision there at the moment, but Cookie has lost time, has lost places, he's down to 9th. Not a good start from last season's champion, as he gets stuck on the curb and makes a mistake and goes very wide. Tadpole is there to pounce, Cam goes off, Cam's had a mistake, and Egg will be right there for Skither's company for 2nd place.
Yeah, Cookie being the first victim of the grind rail curb. I was on board with Cam. He had a little looseness out of turn number 10, and that's why he had to cut that little end of that chicane, of that S section, but he's okay. And looking at it ahead, it looks like Midco is looking to eye up an attack on Jack, but Jack being as wide as possible. It is the first lap, so don't want to take things too crazy and go too wild on anything. But Minico is waiting and waiting. Now he's looking for an opportunity. He tried to go into a shot, but there's no room to get it done there. Jack's still staying as wide as possible. Minico now having to go the long way around to try to get that 7th place spot.
Oh, collision! Minico! Jack! They've come together! 2nd time today, it happened in F2 already. And Cookie will take the pieces. Camwell and his academy teammate put Tadpole in the points. He's up to 10th.
One thing is that his wing is okay. I don't see damage to that wing. But Minico and Jack got crunched.
He was trying to get by Jack, and he just couldn't do so. It was going the long way around, and it was so troubling there at turn 4 to try to remain wheel to wheel. Tadpole had to back out of it. Big moments to start this race for sure. Lewis Piper and Sam Gino trading spots at the back end of the grid, but Egg has now lost 3rd place to Gecko, but critical laps for Skither here on the soft tires to be within DRS range of Leo Lund, as DRS has been activated, but he's just outside of that gap.
Yeah, that's right. If you're hearing it right, people, in F124, as Cryptic is already the first guy with track limit penalty.
Very critical there in the midfield.
For him.
Yes, it is. I mean, Cryptic usually only gets a 3-second at the very most every once in a while. But Gecko, Skither, 3/10 gap for 2nd place. The 2 teammates brawl it out. Skither with no DRS, Gecko has it. And now, will Gecko hold on for his teammate, or will he play the games of switch it around and do the same thing again? Skither loses the rear. Gecko now to the inside and gonna play the games of which teammate will be in front. This time, it's Gecko, but that opens up the door for Egg. Egg may be going for 2 and 1. Can he do it? No. Egg gets Skither. Gecko does too, so Skither down 2 places. Cam on the back of Jack, and at the back of the field, you saw some spots traded between the back of TB, Lewis Piper, Red Fire, and Sam Gino, but the most spots gained goes to TB.
TB currently down in 17th place, looking to stay close with the back of that field. As Skither just went a little wide, same area that Cam did in turn number 1. That's going to allow Reese to get close to look for an opportunity. Let's see if he is going to go in for it at this present moment.
Well, it must be said, in terms of Red Bull, they've won 51 races in a row scoring points, but with Reese only 5th and Cookie having lap 1 troubles being in 7th, there may be a risk for that if this race continues to get chaotic like we saw from the opening 2 laps. But right now, it's just simple DRS games. Stay in the train and you will have a chance. Leo Lund, though, has pulled away 2.2 seconds in front, and we'll find out if Ferrari can keep up that podium streak that they've had in the last 7-9 night races. Here comes Reese on Skither, 2 rivals, both collided in China last season. They race each other with tons of respect, but right now Skither remains ahead, and Cam has got Jack finally.
Stand by.
All right, Egg on the back of Gecko. Skither there as well. 2x2 into turn 1. Skither lost the rear. Reese only just ahead of Cookie as he takes Josh right there. Interesting stuff there in this battle for what is 2nd place and goes all the way back to 8th. But Cam just trying to hang on over Jack, and maybe get up to Josh's teammate and help him out. The fake TB, though, crucially, has a 3-second. Oh, 2 cars going off right there. That was Minico getting a 3-second, and Josh going wide, taking the long way around with an opportunistic move on Cookie, but he almost goes under the barrier. Will Minico take advantage? No. So, Titan said stand by. We are going to get Lando in here due to Titan having a severe storm in his area. We will do that when this battling does calm down into Sector 1. Minico and Josh racing it out now, side by side here. Almost a collision. Oh, now they touch. Oh, Josh, Minico, air caught from both. And Minico, it's his second collision of the race. Now Reese has a look. Punch Skither. They remain intact, but not without contact. Dom and Cryptic at the back of the field. Let's see what happens here. Cryptic just hanging on. Cryptic sliding. Dom ahead. Minico and Josh into the pits after their damage on lap 4. Jack ahead of Cam. And Andrea ends up just behind Speed, the last car in the train. And big news, the fake TB, the Season 8 champion, has lagged, or not has lagged out, has retired from the session.
Very big news on that one. And if you just noticed on the stream, I have left the session. I sent Ryan Searles a message. I had to send Ryan Searles a message. My fire department has put out a message for all members to report to the station for calls. So I have to take my leave.
Hope all goes well and stay safe.
Thank you. And hopefully Lando would join you.
Yes, Lando, let's get him in here. He missed Tier 2 for commentary due to George hosting. That hampered him. We'll get him an invite. Why can I not find him? I'll make the party joinable for him. I don't know why I can't find him. Well, Lando, there you go. The party's joinable for you. Either way, 3 seconds. Egg is just behind Leo London here for second place, and Egg could become another Aston Martin podium sitter tonight. And he just clunked the wall right there in the exit of turn 27. Don't do that, Egg. You don't want to end up costing your chances for the victory. He's on the same strategy as Leo, so he's got a chance now. Here comes some moves. Gecko, Skither, Reese. That's the run into turn 1. They remain put. Welcome along, Lando. Good to have you. Make sure your audio is included.
Yep. I'm here now.
All right, little emergency kind of notice for you. But now we have some moves being made. 3 wide into the bank corner for just a moment. Oh, Reese down the inside of Skither, and he almost went to the side of him, but he got the move done in the process. It's all kicking off. Lando, you're a previous podium sitter of this race in Tier 2. These guys have got to stay calm. You know it.
Oh yeah, you have to stay calm. You have to keep a nice, clean, hard head into it. Obviously, my podium was, very impressive. Not really. It was just crashing. But you have to just keep the tires on the car. Just do the laps. And I haven't been watching much of the race, but I'm pretty sure that McLaren in the lead has a monumental gap between first and second.
Reese is going for it. He's through on Gecko, but will Skither get through on the teammate? No. Cookie there to back up Reese this time, and Reese has a wiggle wobble. Can Reese hang on? Or does he come into pit early? No, he fakes it. But now, the battle for third edges on. Gecko alongside in the background. We got some moves as well maybe being made. Gecko threw up into third. Did you get the invite to the session? Were able to join?
Yeah, it's just my HDMI cord.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So, we still have DRS trains in play. Jack leading the one for 7th place. And oh, collision! Zakaria off! Big Shun! Speed was the one who made contact with him. And Zakaria almost went into the path of Lewis Piper when rejoining. Holy cow. Holy cow. Do you need an invite or are you good?
I'm loading into the game now. I think I have that invite. Just send another one just in case. The way I get the
All right. Well, Lando, Zakaria has damage on his car. He's got to keep his head in it. We'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, it's a long race, and it's it's a tight and twisty track. You gotta keep your head down no matter what.
Here we go. Third place up for grabs once again. Egg is just gonna be able to pull away from these guys if he continues to have Reese and Gecko battle behind. Reese on the mediums, Gecko on the softs. Gecko just hanging on, and now Reese uses the overtake button, engages that to the right side now ahead of Gecko. And he does get the place. So good on Reese to do what he can from a decent qualifying, but a better race. And he slides into turn 1. He'll be ahead of Gecko for the time being, but pitting is Zakaria for the damage.
Yeah, it's a grand shame. I'm loading in here, so I don't know what happened, but it's a grand shame for Zakaria. As now I'm in, I can watch the race now.
5 seconds between Egg and Leo. And Lando, I don't know if you were here for round 1 in terms of watching. Ooh, big moments from both Ferraris on the exit curb of the end of the S's. It's so treacherous there. I was just going to say, I don't know if you saw round 1 with Leo, but our youngest driver in the field, 14 years old, hoping to get into esports at some point. Cryptic gets a 3, but hoping to get into esports at some point. And our only Swedish driver, our only full-time Swedish driver on the grid, doing himself some wonders here as he's looking to win a second race in a row.
He's absolutely flying. Shades of Max Verstappen out there. But meanwhile, again, we got a DRS train. But it's pretty interesting to see that, if I'm Egg and Reese, I don't know if they've been working together or not, but nothing has just worked at all for them. As we see Tadpole in the background, getting chased down by the skate Salver. Not close enough. Everyone's just relaxing, having a bit of fun until, I'm assuming lap 12 to 4 16, the first stops. But looks like we gotta move down the front.
Cookie ahead. Cam as well. Sorry to cut in, but crazy
we're
stuff.
Good. We got Lewis gaining on the back of the hash. Could not do it. But yeah, this is kind of the phase of the Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen, where nothing really is going to happen unless somebody colossally messes up. I don't think anybody
we did have a collision between Minico and Josh, and they're racing now at turn 1. Minico ahead.
Yeah.
Back ahead.
Minico and McLaren. Heard there was some drama between McLaren and the Aston Martin earlier, but making the way back up. Race is not over. Got plenty of time. Main thing now is you're in a bad spot, but it could be worse. You could be 19th. You could be 20th. Always got to look at the positive. Make a negative.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just gonna say, by the way, so with Reese's, or not Reese's case, TB's case, excuse me, he ended up having some glitches happen. He joined the session late and was already on the back foot, and then he just retired in the pit lane after that. I don't know why, but we'll find out post-race. Unfortunate end to a previous winner of the circuit in F1.
Yeah. Wonder really what happened. I don't know how the Visa RV was doing, but it's always a chance to see a driver retire. So here we go, we got a pit stop. Exit is it? Here we go.
Get it under the limit. Just get it under the limit, and he's done that. Gecko has 2, and Skidder on the back of Cookie. 2 rivals, 2 drivers who won races last season. No move, but a defensive move in terms of holding on from Cookie.
Our tire going on both Eggs and Gecko as they're exiting the pit lane. Let's see where they find the Visa RB, a Cryptic also in the background, boxing for white-walled hard tires. They're going to come out in clean air, and that is as much deserved as you want it. You got clean air, now build up the tires, build up the confidence, and go get that McLaren if you're Eggs.
If you're Sam Gino here, you're only 4 seconds ahead of Egg. You better hope Leo Lund pits this time by. Therefore, you maybe can make the difference in terms of where it's at with, the teammates. You can maybe at least do what Reese did to Leo and hold Leo up for a bit, like he did in Bahrain, just enough to where it gets Egg a slight edge closer in case something happens. Speed and Tadpole now racing wheel to wheel into Sector 3. Which one's going to come out in front? These 2 are Academy teammates, so got to play it easy. Tadpole ahead still.
Yeah, look for a moment there. We might have hit the infamous turn 22 ride or die moment, but both drivers giving them the respect and recognition as There goes the Ferrari, passing Cookie, the good old switcheroo with DRS. Oh, a little bump just to make sure.
Ooh.
The bump and run! The bump and run!
Was that contact? I think it was. I think you're right.
They're both coming in.
Hilton! That's why.
Whoa!
Yes, there was contact. I just missed that. I tried clicking back on, but yes, contact with the pit lane between Skither and Cookie. And Dom. Speeds. He might have been in the points if it all just worked in his favor, but not the case.
That's as quickly as it can get taken away from you. Right there. Just pushing the limits a little too much going into the pits, and now you got a nice 10-second penalty as Tadpole goes off the track. So both Hash drivers getting catastrophic things happening in the last 15 seconds of this Grand Prix.
So, with what happened with Skither and Cookie, they were already behind Gecko and Egg, but they've lost quite a ways of time. And big incident, we got our first safety car of the season and the game cycle. Minico, I think, has come together with Josh. Big benefit to Leo, Reese, Cam, and Jack. But our streak of going almost 300 laps without a safety car in all tiers combined has come to an end. Safety car deployed.
Well, that has prematurely maybe screwed Egg. Look where he is on the track. Everybody's just going to come in. This is a free pit stop. Safety car.
This screws over Egg, Gecko, Skither, Cookie, Josh. I mean, I thought Josh was back in the race maybe for a top 5, but I don't know now. Leo, free pit stop like you said. Reese as well. Good from him as well to get that. Cam, Jack, Tadpole, Speed, Andrea. Yeah, I mean they're all in. Unless you're a teammate like Lewis Piper is, he's the only one who would stay out here, really, in this kind of situation.
Yeah, I'm looking where Egg is. He's coming off the final corner. Delta is still there, so he can't just full send it. As Andrea, 10 seconds for a collision in with Speed. What is happening?
In the pit lane.
In the pit lane.
Pit lane.
But Egg is going to come out, looks like P3. So, damage wasn't really as much as I thought it was going to be. And same thing for Gecko. So, they definitely lost a little bit of track position, but it's not as bad as what I thought it was going to be.
This is such a chaotic race, Lendo, because when Cookie's not there, Reese is finally able to be there and put the pieces together. Egg and Gecko still came out ahead of Cam, but Cam's got his chance now. Tadpole, although he has the 3-second, he's in the points. Speed is too. Andrea is. But Skither, Cookie, Josh, all outside the top 9.
Yeah, this is crazy. This has really shuffled the grid to a monumental scale. We have cars that shouldn't really be up there. We got Haas and Skate and Alpines. And then behind that, we got the 3 big boys. Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes. This is going to be one of the craziest restarts. But now this is what we have to talk about, Ryan. You're in the fast car, but you're deep in the pack. You need to have patience, aggression at the same time. How do you do it?
Well, if you're Leo Lund, you've never let a safety car restart in this league. And knowing what happened with Cookie, Korsman, and other guys in races last season, you gotta remember, you need to keep it above the pit lane speed for one, not go excessively above or below a certain mile per hour, and just do the 20 mile per hour difference under the safety car. You gotta do it safely, because if you don't, these guys behind, like Reese, Egg, Gecko, who can take advantage regardless of that, may look to win it in the storage room if that's the case. You gotta keep your head cool, even in the smallest of ways. And Menico does kind of get back in the game due to him causing this safety car. He had a front wing missing, that is why. But Lando, Cookie, Skither, Josh, 10th and lower, and Minico, you can say in this as well, gonna be in this race to try and claw their way back up to the field. And Lewis Piper has had an incident under the safety car. He had one here last season. He's had an off. But I just wanted to say, with those guys like Skither, Cookie, Josh, even Minico, this is going to make a great race trying to recover through the field. And you're right, you got to keep it careful. If you're Speed, Andrea, even Tadpole with a 3-second, maybe even Cam, you're up here, even Egg, gotta get a good result. You cannot throw it away.
Yeah, and it really just comes down to the leader. When does the leader go? We've never seen what a safety car restart is on the team in any kind of league. We all know how the AI do it. It's just a simple pace cars in, boom. But now it's the real deal. These are real people on a, well, I guess a real racetrack. But now we have to figure out do you go? Do you try to do the Verstappen, where you just hang it back a little bit and then just shoot it up? Or do you try to do the Lando Norris? Right on the exit of the corner, just blast the throttle, almost screwing himself. Like landing. And there's so many factors. Wheel spin, tire temp, as on the board with Leo. Look at him wave the hard tires up and down, side to side. He's also been trying to burn some fuel. He's been high revving the gears on any straight.
Well, you mentioned fuel, and I have to not go without mentioning this. If you're at risk of running out of fuel, if there is no safety car, well, now you've got the thing that has helped you, the safety car. And Leo Lund almost running into the safety car.
He's maximizing the tire capacity. You can see everybody look at him go left and right and left. As Gecko pulling the best Kimmy Räikkönen back there, just standing still saying, yeah, you guys can do what you want to do with your tires. I'm just going to sit here. But is the safety car going to come in this lap?
It should.
Flickered for a little bit there.
We'll find out in just a moment time. It should this lap, and it is. Safety car in. Leo Lund leads the field. And this is the first safety car restart he will lead in RPL. Let's see what happens on this restart. By the way, just a reminder, folks, for next week's events. Tier 3 Imola, Tier 2 and F2 Austria, and F1 in Australia. We'll find out, though, what happens on this restart ahead of all that stuff. Leo Lund leads. And can he continue to lead this race? When does he go? Leo Lund backs it up. Out of 27 now with the safety car in the pits. He's waiting, backing them up big time and going. And at the back of the field, they almost had a collision with Minico, getting almost ran in the back of. Now, Reese Dainty's the one under pressure. He's trying to keep second. Cam's weaving the tires. Gecko on the back of Egg almost ran into the path of him.
Yeah, that was a war zone for restarts. There's damage. Somebody's end plate is just blown off. Red Fire Tiger, 3-second time penalty for obviously using the track as a scenic entrance. But I think that restart was good. I saw the Constantine, but I don't think the McLaren of Leo really backed off all that much. He stayed consistent,
No, he didn't.
55, 56. So I think the restart was good. Everybody's getting power hungry as usual. As Minico on the skate, Sauber just gonna drive right by it into the hairpin beige corner, whatever you want to call it, up to 15th. That McLaren's flying. But right now, Reese in the crucial DRS zone, but he enabled it next time by.
While that happened, Gecko got Egg, Speed got Tadpole, and Cookie got Skither. All happening, Lando. Cookie now on the back of Andrea. Can Cookie find a way past here as he's been put in the back of the field here? 10th place right now. Only 1 point awarded. Maybe 4 once the penalties get applied, but right now, he needs to take more spots on track in order to claw his way back up. Overtake engaged, and now here we go. 3-car race into turn 27. Andrea.
Here we go, Cookie to the inside of the outfield. He's going to go for the double. Of course he's going to try. He's a Red Bull, and he's a racing driver. Can't get the power down, but it's going to be a drag race. Hacks versus RB. Red Bull versus Ferrari engine. Here we go, down the main street. The pass getting the slipstream from the Team Academy. Affiliate of Speed into turn 1, into 2. They touch again. But it's going to be the Red Bull who gets the power down, and clear he goes. And Tadpole lets the Ferrari go. The Skizzer. These two are absolutely on a charge, and the Merc not far behind these two.
Cam, a 3-second time penalty to his name. That's going to be costly later on. Right now, Speed on the medium tires. The first one of those guys right now in prime position to take 6 when things happen. Minico getting Andrea. That's another overtake he's made. And he, after getting front wing damage, now trying to come back to the field. Like I said to Titan in the pre-race, Lando, if this is going to be a race where an underdog team, like we see in Tier 2 a lot, or 2 seasons ago with Will Dyer, Miley 41, and an Aston Martin taking podium, this would be the one to do it. Right now you got Egan 4th. He was up there for quite a bit. We'll find out if he stays there. Minico on the back of Josh, but Cookie in DRS of Speed, who's not in DRS of the ones in front.
Yeah, Minico with an absolute clinical, I think, overtake of the week on the Alpine, the switchback in the S's. But here we go, the McLaren driver gaining on the Merc, who's gaining on the Haas. Here we go. Is it going to be for the power the McLaren has? Down into turn 27. It's going to be side by side. The McLaren exits ahead. Tadpole and understeer off the exit. Minico gets by.
Oh!
Down the street. Minico's going to go for it. And there's 3 wide and almost action everywhere on the circuit. Is Minico going to go for the left? Of course! Minico Minico's gonna go forward.
Oh!
Rears, keeps it.
Almost
Tadpole
around and
gets the red
Tadpole the
ball.
same!
Down goes Minico. What a
Oh my
move.
goodness, and while that was happening, Cookie and Skither both picked off speed, Lando. 2 battles at once we were trying to both get on.
Absolutely clinical overtakes happening everywhere. Drifting in one sector, passing like a madman down the straights. Speed gets 2 for 1 down the straightaway. But now Cookie and PSR need to go to catch Jack.
Oh!
There's more action.
Josh with a lunge goes through on Tadpole.
Tadpole's been absolutely murdered by half the field on this restart. It has not been the greatest resource for this hatch driver, but you have to put into play. These are all a lot faster cars, and here comes the LP down the street. Are we going to see a move into turn 22? We're going to see one side by
Whoa!
side. Are they going to touch? Is there space? Of course there's a little space.
Oh!
There they go! That was never going to work.
Andrea affected the most of them two. Here goes Jack and Cam. Jack stays behind, and Skither stays behind Cookie. This race is going to be one of the last man standing to fight this. Here we go for the lead. Reese Dainty goes for it. He's ahead of Leo Lund. He takes the top spot away while his teammate gets overtaken. But Reese Dainty, who ended last season as a reserve because of what was happening for him, not the way he would have wanted at the Season 9 champion, but right now, he's out in front and putting the charge on Leo and Crash. That's Dom out. VSC deployed.
How is that not a safety car? He's stuck in the middle of the track. As Tadpole's in the box for a set of soft compound tires and a front wing change. No surprise there. That was an interesting accident, but the field slowly goes down in pace. Us as commentators can finally take a breather. We had fastest laps getting exchanged everywhere. Passes everywhere. Contact everywhere. Ryan, we could finally relax for a good 30 seconds.
Lando, if you don't mind, I think you should go to Twitch and your Xbox so you can see what I'm seeing here on my screen while we both try to cover this, because we both keep trying to cover 2 things at once. That's how chaotic this race is. DRS back online. Nobody got a drive-through, but Reese Dainty leads this race. And I just want to mention, Lando, before we get Cam and Jack going at it, Reese Dainty mentioned in this race prior that he was struggling to get up to pace here. Right now, he's leading this race.
He's absolutely flying in that Red Bull. The field is just a little bit more spread out from that restart. But here we go, the McLaren of Leo down the front stretch. He's gaining on the Red Bull, gaining all the time. Is he gonna make the move? Does that McLaren feel risky enough? He half looks, doesn't think of it, but the Ferrari! Holy moly!
Gecko! Wow! That half spin could have been critical and oh!
That was an interesting defense tactic by Gecko. The good old lag move, but it is a conga line for P5, Jack and Cam. PSR and Cookie all stuck in this train. Can they finally make some inroads? They've lost 4 seconds, but look at Leo. He's gaining a lot of time, but is the Red Bull race just harvesting battery? Yes, he is, but look at the McLarens compared to Reese's down in, I think, turn something 17. We're just going to count it.
I think it is.
That was a very accurate
Something like
guess.
that.
As Andrea gets a 3-second time penalty, but here we go, the McLaren. Are we going to see another one of these turn 22 overtakes? No, we're not. The McLaren just backing off. But look at Gecko in the background. He's hungry for the P1, as if anybody is. But look at Egg also in there. I don't think he got DRS. Did he? Yes, he did. Okay. That was just an interval. But here comes the McLaren, Leo. Just playing the game.
Remember the detection point. Remember the detection point. It's changed. It's after the corner. Reese hangs on right now. Also, Minico got speed, Lando. But here we go to the white line, almost to the pit wall. Leo Lund going for it and on the edge. Leo takes over the lead of the race while his teammate takes the fastest lap. And Skither's now trying to get Jack down the inside. Oh, there's a bit of touching.
I don't think there was contact. It looked a little bit lag from the angle that I have, but they're going to go side by side. Who's going to back out? Who feels them? They're not going to back out. They're racing drivers, of course. And the Ferrari Edge is ahead of the Aston Martin. Now Cookie's shaping up for a move. Minico on the drive of centuries, moving up so
this race has definitely been flipped upside down since that safety car. Speed as well. We'll get Minico based on the penalties, but he almost clipped the wall right there, so he's got to keep it careful. Reese Dainty, though, barely any ERS, but just in DRS. That's what he needs. If he can do this, he might win for the first time since Canada last season. And he's really putting on a good performance when his teammate really didn't have the benefit of the safety car. 6 laps to go this time, but the race is just on right here. Here comes Cookie. He has the momentum, and he's going to go through on Jack.
A simple pass, but now we look further ahead, 1 spot closer in PSR. There should be a clinical pass. Oh, a little block. Another block from the Mercedes. Here we go, down the street. Is it going to mean anything? No, he won't. Through goes the Ferrari. Is Cookie going to follow? Cookie takes one of the Mercedes blocks off, and that's an easy, well-done move for the Red Bull driver. And now both of them are free. Can they catch on to the back end of that? They're going to have 6 laps to do it. Can they do it?
Also further on back, you had Zakaria, Cryptic, Lewis Piper, another midfield battle, brawling it out. But the top 10 all have their race of their own. You have the 5th to 10th area in DRS. 1st to 4th still remain in DRS. Is Reese going to save a bit more ERS than Leo and going to have a chance to pull off a victory? If it would be happening for Reese, the victory specifically, it would be the one that silences the doubters, the people wondering why you finished P11 in Red Bull, why you weren't doing so good in qualifying. Well, he had a decent qualifying, out-qualifying his teammate for the first time on pure pace. For Cookie's sake, first time he's got out-qualified in over 30 rounds, but now Minico gets Jack.
What a move by Minico. We're going to get another one here, just passing cars like it's target.
Oh! Minico takes flight! Minico takes flight. He's just went airborne. VSC only. I don't know how that was a safety. It wasn't a safety car, Lando. Leo Lund fakes to the pits. Reese is in.
Whoa!
Reese is pitting.
Whoa! What is happening?
What?
Is there damage? Is there damage on the Red Bull?
What?
Here he comes into the box. No damage. This is a pit stop. This is an official
What?
pit stop. Has he just thrown his
Reese
race
Dainty's
away?
had questionable strategies in the past, but this is the most questionable of them all.
He's gonna fall
VSC's about to end, and it does.
That's it. That's it. That's
He's
his race.
just-
That's it.
He's just handed Gecko and Egg a chance to fight for the victory, and Reese with a really questionable decision. Speed on Cam. He's through.
He's just thrown the race away. That could have been his race to win, and he's thrown it away. Speed.
That was so
3-second time
dumb.
penalty.
That was
Whoa!
so dumb.
And Leo just drifted through turn 14 like a mad.
That's gonna put Gecko back in DRS, Lando. That's gonna put Gecko back in DRS.
And
And you know
McLaren's not
what?
keeping up well. Here we go.
Egg is on the podium right now, by the way, in Aston Martin. Last week, by the way, just a reminder, I don't know if you were here for it, it was Egg and Gecko versus Leo, but they were both in the same team. Gecko's transferred to Aston, out of the academy, and now on for a podium and a win. Right in front of his eyes. He's had 4 podiums, Lando, I believe, before a first victory. Here he comes for second.
He's got a great shot at doing this. He's in the best spot in terms of battery and just commitment right now. But that McLaren, since lights out, has been everywhere. But this restart, probably the most important one. Didn't get off the line well. But here comes Gecko. Look at Egg. Just kind of getting out of the slipstream. Here comes the Ferrari. Doesn't think of making a launch. We look a little further back as the Ferrari locked up in the turn 2. Nothing crazy happening. Never mind. Look at the Mercedes Cam. Standing on the
Wow.
Alfa Romeo skate, whatever you want to call it. A speed up into 7th goes the Mercedes driver.
Big fight behind. The other stake goes around. Lewis Piper, contact, and he's out of it for a chance of points. Red Fire now is going alongside Cryptic, and he couldn't do it. But that was an opportunistic move from Cam, which has now costed him after a mistake in Sector 1 that he had happen. And Reese Dainty back here in 13th now. What a silly decision. What an absolute decision. You had a chance for the race victory. You were going to win probably for the first time since Canada, or maybe at least be on the podium. But now you're only fighting your academy teammate, Cryptic. A lot of the people in chat very surprised about that, but he better have been hoping for a full safety car right there, or else that was a dumb decision. Very, very stupid.
As that is going on, breaking news off front. Leo has managed to broke the DRS for 2 straights, but for the main straight and probably the most important straight, Gecko's managed to edge his way back in 7/10 is the gap as there's more shuffling going on further back. As we see Reese making a move into the point, but again, like you said, just dumb.
What does it matter? What does it matter? You're up to 10th now. You're going to get 1 point. Now your teammates outperforming you only due to strategy. Cookie 4th. And Cam, yup, that's another one. 7th place right there. That literally would have been 3 versus 1 for Leo. Leo would have been the most under pressure probably of any race this season so far, or any race he's done, even including China. But now, it just doesn't matter. That's silly. That's very, very silly.
This 1 point means 25 points in his world. That is the absolute.
But he was actually outperforming the car. He was actually outperforming the car, and I was impressed. I was happy to see it, proving the critics wrong. But when you do stuff like that, it just doesn't make sense. 1.2 the gap.
Yeah, the McLaren is just flying. I wonder if the McLaren's running a little more downforce compared to the Ferrari as Red Fire Tiger. Another 3 seconds, but another thing to speak about Reese. Now, no matter how hard he was pushing, I think he's just managed to break out of the Alpine's DRS, but he just has no battery. Just nothing. Why would you do it? It doesn't make sense.
But now Skither's on the back of his teammate Cookie. And like I was saying earlier, Cookie got out qualified by a teammate on Pure Pace in Vegas 2 seasons ago at the end of the season. Not 30 races, but just about. Speaking of that, Skither threw on Cookie. That's crucial, and now Speed is fighting for P7 with Cam in the Sauber, the slowest car on the grid, but Sauber will be scoring points in 3 of the 3 races that they had a chance to this weekend if they can just do it with Speed, even though the penalty is there. Cookie gets Skither. But now, up in front, Egg is within distance of Gecko. He can see a race victory in his sights.
Oh, more contact.
But he needs a big mistake from Leo. Remember, Lando, like I was saying about Egg, prior to today, 3 podiums in the past would tie the most without a victory if he takes a 4th today.
Yeah, he's got a real good shot, but the McLaren's just edging his way further away from the grid. As Josh has just gone off almost out of the race. There was team order to look like it worked. Josh was letting go by Cam to try to get the skate, but now the skate is, well, quite frankly, skating away from the 2 mark. We're going to focus ahead into turn 22. Egg versus Gecko. Ferrari v Aston Martin. The penultimate step of the podium, because right now that McLaren is gone, and this is the only battle for a podium place. Meanwhile, Cookie versus PSR in the Ferrari, another Red Bull versus Ferrari matchup coming soon. We're going to have 1 lap to go coming up, but who's going to make the move? Who's going to play the games? We're about to find out, Ryan. It's the leader about to cross the line for 1 more.
Cookie, Jack, both through. Cookie just slots in behind Jack, and Skither behind Cookie. 1 lap to go. Egg is fighting for P2, but do you at least fight this now or wait to the start-finish line, though? Because if Leo makes a mistake, that may be the chance for a victory. Cookie ahead of Skither, and then Jack. That's the running order down into 1 right there, but now almost 3 wide. Here goes Josh ahead of Speed, and now just ahead of Cam. That is so close there in the end of the points.
13, Gino on Cryptic, simple overtake, but now we focus up for the battle. On second in the back.
Egg and Gecko, yes.
Here we go, Gecko in the middle sector. Just Gecko a little fishtailing. The Cario at the 3-second time penalty. Never mind that. We focus ahead in the turn 17. Crucial corners. Can the Ferrari get an exit? Look at the Aston Martin sending them eggs. 1 more.
Wow.
3 more chances. Maybe 2. Maybe 1. Cryptic within 3 seconds. Now we watch the Aston. Here he comes. Down the straight. Gaining. Is there going to be gains?
Oh, he's going to wait for it.
Into turn 22. They touch. Passing.
Oh, big contact. Jack, Skither, Cookie. Skither off. Skither with a penalty. Here comes Egg around the outside. Here he goes. He's through into 2nd place. And once again, for a 4th time, Egg on the podium without a win. But back-to-back weeks, Leo Lund lands on the top step of the podium. Leo wins Saudi Arabia. Drag race. Drag race. We got more coming. Speed and Josh. Is it close enough? No. Lewis Piper has got Samgino, but there's one more straight to go. Egg second. Gecko third for a second week in a row. Then Cookie, Jack, Skither, Josh, Speed, Cam, Reese, and a fight to the line that has Lewis Piper only 12th. But Reese Dainty, the last points runner, after his horrid strategy that he tried, it just was never going to work unless there was maybe a full safety car. Our final finishers, Samgino, Zakaria, Piper, Cryptic, Redfire, Andrea, and now Tadpole, clunking in the wall. We lost 3. Probably the least amount in a Tier 1 Saudi race for RPL. Our first safety car of the game cycle, but a hell of a race. Leo Lund, our winner tonight in Saudi Arabia, and Egg just misses out on the win again. For Egg's case, you gotta wonder when that first win is coming. In terms of podiums, it's his 4th. In terms of second place finishes, though, it's also his 4th. And Gecko, welcome back once again to the podium for a second week in a row. His 13th all time.
What a race. I mean, it was everything. Just a whole bunch of overtakes, fastest lap switches. And then, obviously, the highlight probably for this week is going to be the decision on Reese Dainty coming in after Minico's crash. Maybe he was hoping that was a safety car. Maybe, just maybe was he thinking. But he's just throwing the
Celebrations
race away.
underway.
The podium
Good
celebrations.
for Leo Lund. Good for Leo Lund. Second week in a row, our youngest winner on the current grid.
And he's
Your
gone for
final
McLaren.
results on your screen. Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, Speed had a good race. Samgino, just short of points in the Williams. Maybe a shout out there. Maybe not driver of the day, but good from him. Maybe just shy of a driver of the day mention. Maybe an honorable mention. Speed, one of the ones as well. Josh had a good recovery. Cookie had a decent recovery. And Egg, just shy of the win for a 4th time. Here are your final results. Here is a recap of it. Leo, Egg, Gecko, Cookie 4th. Not on the podium for the second week in a row. Jack 5th. Skither 6th. Josh 7th. Mercedes his first points of the season. Then Speed, Cam, and Reese round out the top 10. Reese Dainty, what an appalling decision. I'm really I mean, I showed my displeasure already, but I'm really disappointed on that. I mean, you had a really big chance to go for it and go 3v1, but you could even argue Gecko and Egg might be more frustrated than I might be because that ruined their chances for the win, maybe.
Yeah, it's just... That strategy call is almost enough to make you just throw up. Like, it's that late in the race.
I don't mind bold strategies. I love them, but that's stupid. That's not bold.
That's not even bold.
That's stupid.
That is, as Martin Brundle would say, just $1 short. Just...
And as he once said too, if you want my opinion, I've not been this disappointed since Shrek 2. That's how disappointing it is. I mean, Reese Dainty, I give you tons of props. You said you were horrible at this track. You were nowhere on pace now. You were up there. You were outperforming your car. Think about it. The Red Bull is slower around here than the McLaren. And you were beating Leo Lund, who was 10 seconds clear in Bahrain. You had some jet fuel in your car or something. But now, you costed yourself a chance to win. I mean, come on. 3v1 turned into a 2v1. And Leo Lund, like I said, just like Lando's first win, landed on the top step of the podium. And a second week running.
I wouldn't even say he landed. He drove, honestly, I watched a little bit of qualifying from him. He had a perfect weekend. On top of there in qualifying, he had a great start and just, he never looked back. There was a couple moments where, it could have been questionable, like the safety car restart, but I think it was fine. That VSC where Gecko's, looking back on it, maybe only chance to get by that McLaren. That was the one chance right there where the McLaren was vulnerable. That McLaren did not get the tires reheated after that VSC, after Minico, well, quite frankly, aircrafted it into the wall. But Leo just absolutely drove a flawless race. And you know who else deserves that spot too? Egg. Egg also just drove a very beautiful race. And I said it, the Aston feels very, very good around the circuit. He drove that Aston to what I think was the maximum. I think he could have gotten the win. Did it hurt with Reese? It's gonna be hard to tell. I just think Leo had just that bit more advantage than anybody else.
Yeah, and when we have a chance to go to VC, I'm going to give Leo Lund an interview in just a moment. But I want to mention something said in chat from his teammate Miniko, who had a really good qualifying effort throughout most of the entire session until the end of Q3, and that's where it all went downhill. He had collisions with Mercedes Academy drivers not once, not twice, but 3 times. And I thought he was going upside down. I thought he was going to do a kickflip, but big incident, he said in the Twitch chat. I kept my wheel straight. He turned right and kills me. Enough said. I don't know what he was doing. But frustration boiling over in the McLaren/Alpine Academy camp with probably the Mercedes Academy right there, because Miniko used to be a part of it, and it's unfortunate for him. And Lando, next week we have Australia. Before we interview Leo Lund and go to VC with him, what are your final thoughts on today's event before we ask him some questions?
Oh, what are my thoughts? Well, I joined halfway through, and I know my commentary wasn't the best, but what a cracking race! Maybe the races just get more excited when I'm in the booth. That was just absolutely incredible. The overtakes, the fastest lap games, everything was perfect. It was perfect, and let me tell you, Australia better be like this. I love that track so much. Australia is one of the best circuits. And one more thing with the Miniko and the Merc thing, I'm gonna be real. I'm no steward, but there was some questionable. It was a questionable move, but I think I'm more impressed that they wrecked on the straightaway.
Yeah, I mean,
It looked like the weird contact model. I don't know. The angle I had, it looked like they just double bounced and then the McLaren got thrown into the wall. But that's not for me to decide. That's why we have stewards. But
that is true.
I feel bad for Miniko.
Very true.
Because, again, I'm a commentator. I shouldn't show bias. The McLarens. I like McLaren. Miniko drove a great race. Up until that point.
He did. Even with the struggles, he had a recovery that was gonna be worth it. Was not the best of races.
And then the 3-second really just that started the downhill. But he kept fighting. He went from 17th to what at that point of the accident 9th. He was literally cutting his way through cars. The switchback on the Alpine.
Together in Cookie too.
My overtake today.
Together until the penalty. He might try to get that removed. I think he got punted by Jack, I'm pretty sure. I was trying to go 2-1 there in the battles. It was so tough to keep up on. But I mean, Lando, just one more thing before I interview Leo Lund. You're in here for Tier 2 Bahrain, now Tier 1 Saudi, and I can't choose which one was the better race because you come in here and you provide the good race. I don't know what it is with you. Come on, I mean, you make me choose the tough decisions now.
Okay. The only thing that can elevate Bahrain is because there were 3 photo finishes when I'm in the booth. Of course, something dramatic has to happen. Saudi, it was Miniko's car was just overtaken. I'm gonna say I hope the stream caught it. I hope someone was streaming in the back half of the grid because Miniko switched back in the S's an Alpine and did it around the outside. I'm pretty sure that's overtake of the month. I don't care what anyone says. That person's career got absolutely rostered. That was beautiful. Oh, so
I'm
good.
trying to drag Leo into here, but it's let me try this now. Nope. What is this? All right, let's try this one more time. I'm trying to drag Leo. What the hell? Okay. You know what? I'm gonna join him in chaos instead, because this is a bit funny. This is being a bit funny on me. Yeah, I'm just gonna join chaos, and if you have any questions after I'm done interviewing, I'll have you do that. So let's go to Leo now. All right, Leo Lund, welcome along.
Thanks.
Firstly, congrats on the win. Back-to-back wins. Let's talk about your race. It was definitely a race from that safety car for sure. You had Reese Dainty, you had Gecko, and you had Egg challenging you, and you were able to pull the gap on all 3 of them before that safety car came out. Then when the safety car did, you had some pressure, and Reese was battling with you for the lead. How were you able to pull that DRS in the last few laps in order to get the victory?
I don't know, because I was struggling so much with the grip and rotation, but I may have got the gap, I think, because I was gapping a lot in the sector 1, and if I turned on the ERS on maybe hot lap in sector 1, I would probably get the gap. But yeah.
Now, I just have a question regarding Race Dainty's strategy about the later stages of the race. You saw him pit under the VSC that we got for Miniko, your teammate, flying into the air. I just want to ask about that. It looked like it was going to be a 3v1 with those guys challenging you. And funny enough, from 4 different academies at the front with fighting for the win. What were your thoughts when you saw him pit, and did it make the job a little bit easier to win the race when that happened?
I was like, why is he pitting? Like, it's only a few laps to go. It's gonna be too far back to challenge. So that was good for me because he had pretty good pace and wasn't struggling as much as I did.
Congrats on the win, by the way. Second win from you as well. 100% podium rate continues since you've joined this league. 3rd time being the charm to win at night twice and get one on the Alpine at China in terms of the podium. So yeah, congrats on that. And Lando, my co-commentator from tonight, after Titan ended up having power outages and stuff like that happen in his area for storms. He's the co-commentator for tonight. If you have any questions, Lando, I'm sure Leo might be able to hear you from my TV. You may as well ask him now.
Yeah, I think my only question is in Sector 1, it seems like Noah Katashi, were you running more wing than anybody else? Because it seemed like on the street you were a little bit vulnerable compared to other cars. Were you just running that little bit more wing through the first sector?
Can you say that to me, Ryan?
He said he was wondering if you had any more wing because the way you were able to pull away from the first sector.
Oh, wing.
Yeah, front wing, rear wing.
Oh, no, I don't think so, no. I was pretty low on the wings.
Oh, that's great. Finally, low wings.
Lando's happy about that with the way he designs his setup.
Just the dumbest high downforce spec wings. I'm glad people run low downforce. But I mean, you drove a great race. I don't know what more I can say other than maybe was there at any point on that second VSC after Miniko, your teammate had a catastrophic accident?
Big incident.
It seemed like you had a little bit of a struggle there with the tire warm-up. But was it just because the VSC ended in a bad spot? Because I think you were a second and a half clear of Deco because of obvious Reese's questionable strategy. But did you get caught up by the end of the VSC there, or was it just trying to get Ree back into the pace?
What did you say?
He was wondering if you got caught by the end of the VSC with what happened there, because it looked like your gap shrank just slightly before it extended later on. He was wondering if you had any tire warm-up happen.
Oh yeah, my tire times were like 60 something, so I was struggling a lot with them. But yeah, I got them up a bit later.
Fair enough. You know, tire pressures and tire warmth is crucial. But other than that, it was a great race for you. I got nothing to say than just keep making McLaren look good.
FYI, as we are about to end the stream, I just want to mention to you, Leo, congrats one more time, but you lead the championship into Australia next week, and the other Swedish driver that we had in RPL, the most successful one before you, I would say, Iran Maxwell G, he only led the championship 2 times, and for 2 races, you now tie him on that after this weekend. So I just want to wish you a congrats on that as well, by the way, before we end off. And good luck in Australia.
Thanks.
All right, Lando. We have Tier 3 Imola next week, Tier 2 and F2 in Austria, and F1 in Australia. That should be fun to cover. Ryan Searles, Lando for Norris, Season 5 Tier 2 Saudi Arabia podium sitter. Signing off. We'll have a good one, and I hope you do so too. Till next time, good night and goodbye.